Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.
Hello everyone and welcome to ATB Wealth Community Spotlight, where we do features on people in the community that are making a difference. And today we have two amazing guests. We have Dominic from Jelous Fruits and Patty from Rosa Orchards. I messed it up the first time. So welcome. Thank you guys for joining me
Well,
today.
thanks for having us here.
No problem. Thank you for joining, Patty.
Thank you.
No problem. So maybe I'd like to start on just maybe give us you've been on many times, Dominic. But a little bit maybe on the Jelous Fruit side. So what your role is today, and we'll jump in and talk about all the amazing things you guys are doing.
So Jelous Fruits is a family-owned farm, and we're the largest cherry grower in Canada.
Wow.
We're a large operation by far. We've got about 1,500 acres of orchards all the way from Pritchard and Kamloops to across the street from Bircham Creek Park.
Okay.
So they're all over different elevations, so we get different varieties of cherries for a long time, and it's logistically it's very interesting.
I imagine. All
the A1 buses, we transport people. We have people staying at Silver Star, Big White, UBCO accommodation, plus all the ADCO trailers that are on the farms. So we're probably 1,500 employees this year, and the plants. This is the first year, or maybe the second time that the plant out there is. We're sorting about 20 to 24 hours a day. We go 2 shifts now. We get that many cherries, so it's pretty exciting.
Right.
Exciting industry, and so it's just a beehive of activity up there that you wouldn't believe. Forklifts going all over the place. And
well, I was saying I drive by and the parking lot's full, but you're also coming off a tough year last year for cherries.
That's right. Yeah.
The family was not happy that I couldn't bring cherries back. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's good. But I'm kind of excited, Rob, that we talk. I always like talking about cherries now. But the other excitement part is Patty can introduce her operation. But the unique thing about Patty and myself, we're related on the Ramponi side.
Yeah. Okay.
That her great-grandfather, right?
Okay.
It's Giovanni, right?
Great.
Yeah, great. And he was, their farm and the Ramponi farm were together.
Interesting.
In Italy. So her great-great-grandfather called my great-grandfather out here, and they farmed. Because your heritage come in 1883?
Yes.
And so by the time the mail got back to Italy, the Kelowna was good. It was 1893.
Yeah.
So it was, I tell people this all the time, it's so interesting. So when my great-grandfather came over here, the only other guy that spoke Italian was Casorso. They're the only 2 guys in Kelowna, so they became pretty good friends. But it wasn't the relationship to him as much as it was to, I guess it would be your grandmother? I can't remember what it is. It was the first cousin to my grandfather.
Interesting.
That's how we're
connected.
That's how we're connected.
Yes.
So there's a long history over there. But the unique thing about, and then on her husband's side, Sam, ever since they came from Italy, we met them the first week they came to Kelowna. So we've known both families an awful long time.
Interesting.
Become good friends. So
that's awesome.
Patty,
so Patty, tell us a little bit about your guys' orchard and what you guys. We're talking a little bit about you guys. I think this is. You're opening on the weekends now, but maybe tell us a little about the type of fruits you have and how people can come up there and grab some.
So my husband's family came in the late 1950s, right to Kelowna, and they started eventually farming. And so my husband grew up on a farm, eventually bought his own farms. So we're primarily into apples, pears, table grapes. The last couple of years we've gotten into cherries. So it's our first year with a full crop of cherries, and so right now we're open this weekend, the long weekend, Monday to Tuesday, with the staccato cherries, and next weekend hopefully we'll be open with peaches and the centennial cherries, and then we'll have a bit of a break, and then our main selling opens the end of August, when we start with pears and then all the apples, and we go to about the 3rd week in October.
Interesting. So how long have you guys had this orchard then?
This one we've been on for about think 15 years.
Okay.
But we've got other orchards
Right.
around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is the main one.
This is the main one right now.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. No you pick, but just the fruit's all pre-picked.
So I'm actually curious because like we always see the front, like you show up and buy some cherries, but all the work that goes behind the scenes. Can you talk a little bit about? So I'll chat with you about that too, because you have obviously a bigger operation, but like the work that goes into maintaining what you guys do.
Right. Pertaining to cherries or apples or any
both,
of it?
I would say, just running an orchard, I would say, right?
Yeah, people sort of think it's seasonal, like oh, you have the winters off.
Yeah, not so much.
I mean, yes, the pressure's off in the winter, but they're all it starts with the pruning of the trees. All need a haircut.
Yeah,
there's all that, and then in the spring there's lots of spraying that has to be done. A lot of nutrients. Bees have to come. Bees are rented, come into the orchard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a very important part that people don't realize, that we rent bees
to pollinate.
Interesting. Yeah. So there's all the
Where do you rent bees from?
Well, you find a bee man.
There's a few around.
There's a few around,
Interesting.
And so they're a very integral part of it. And then there's all the things that go with the spring. Maybe you're planting,
right.
And there's all like all the type of sprays. Most sprays are organic based these days.
Right.
And then you go into the thinning of the fruit. So there's too much fruit on it, so you have to take parts of it out so you get bigger fruit, which some people have a very hard time with when they see it on the ground, including myself.
Yeah, I know for sure.
It's hard to see.
It's a lot of work.
I say to my husband, "There's no crop. I hate that. I don't like that." He goes, "Oh, I love it," because he knows how the fruit's going to size up, right? The summers, between summer pruning and the thinning, and then of course, obviously with cherries and peaches, you're selling in between, in our case, windows of time. And then, September, October, it's full on picking. And then, your cleanup, and then you start pruning again. Yeah.
So you can do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I'm curious you also have through the winters things you can't control, like if it's a freeze or if it's a late freeze. Do you worry at night? Do you go to bed sometimes going, "Oh my gosh, we're not going to have a crop"? Like if this thing when you have no control over it, really.
You're right. Yeah. That's the one thing with farming. There's no control. We have put 2 wind machines on our property.
Okay, that would help. Yeah.
And it's more for the spring, but I don't know if we've used them in the winter yet. Okay. But and they have sensors on them. One's an automatic sensor so it'll just start going off.
Right.
And then the other one is my son will have an alarm on his phone, and then he'll have to manually start it up. Yeah. But I think I don't know Kelowna so much, but I know more in the South Okanagan. There's a lot of windmills. Do you have windmills at Jelous?
Some orchards.
Yeah, if there's a frost pocket, can save your crop by having it redistribute the air.
Right. And I know I read, does Jelous Fruits that have like helicopters come in, and is that you guys that have orchards?
A lot of them, yeah.
So what are the helicopters doing? Like
they're downdrafting the air, so they move, especially in the spring, like early January. Right. They'll fly around to move the air so the air won't freeze on the buds. So we do it that time. Okay. And then we also do it in the rainy season. Right. Where if the water sits on the stem and then the heat comes out, it'll split the cherry. So each of our orchards has managers. So like we have some orchards close to where Patty's operation is. So the manager looks after that. If it rains, he'll go say, there's enough water there. We have to call the helicopters. And I believe it's like 15 minutes they got to get there. So on that, whenever the weather's reported, they go there. And once you see it, it's like they're 20 feet above the trees.
Oh, yeah. Really? I have amazing pictures because around us, they cut. We don't have helicopters. No, my son built a cherry dryer, so he doesn't because we don't have as much. But you see them all around us, and it's quite fascinating to see. Yeah,
it's like MASH.
Yeah.
There was one case we had a broker from China come up to East Kelowna Orchard, and she was thrilled because she knows how we farm here, but she never taken a video of it. So I said, Corrine, why are you taking a video? She said, well, some of my buyers that pay a fortune for the cherries don't realize why we pay the money, because this is why.
I should say, you never see what goes in behind the scenes, right? We see the front end, but we don't get the insight to this sort of stuff. I'm actually curious, Tom, you mentioned like you have a lot of people working, like you said, I think you said 1,500.
Yep.
So is it harder, because I would assume a lot of them are there a lot of foreign workers that come in?
Probably 70%.
Has it been harder to hire the foreign workers,
No.
or you haven't had any issues with that? Okay, because I was wondering, like you hear in the media, right? It's like they're limiting the amount of foreign people that come in. I
don't think they've eliminated.
Not in farming.
They haven't. Okay.
Not in farming. I think that.
Well, you hire some workers too.
Yeah. Before I was asking Tracy, and she said that program
it's still okay.
I don't think there's risk of. I mean, who's going to do the work?
Yeah, exactly. I think my kids are lazy; they won't. Just
I think it's something like 30,000 in BC alone.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a big.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Dominic, where do we used to be able to come up. We talked about for the old, I guess, Dendy.
It's still called Dendy.
Dendy still is, okay, and go and buy. But you've kind of changed that model now, and many reasons why. But where do you guys, like, how do you distribute? I mean, you guys have an amazing operation. You were saying how many semis are full, like specific around cherries. Like, where are you distributing these? Like, where
you can find our cherries at Costco, Walmart. Okay. They buy from other suppliers too.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Those are the bigger guys. We supply Urban Fare. We supply Peter's Independent, and we supply Lake Country IGA.
Okay.
So you can buy bags there.
Okay.
But we're such a large operation that it was such a small part of the operation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, and then inventory control was difficult because they would have to bring them from the plant
there
to our place, and just inventory. I enjoyed it.
Sure.
You realize
I know you did.
I had a lot of fun.
You'd always have the question of the day.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun doing that, but I still get tons of phone calls where some of the customers who bought lots actually bring them to their house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I say, well, I can get you some, bring them to your house.
Yeah.
But I think the real interesting part of the farming now, and I have to be proud of Sam and Patty. They're really innovative farmers. Like Sam and Patty you guys have been around the world researching different plants and equipment and all that. Yeah. But it's when you go there and you meet Sam, his passion for that tree is, oh my Lord, like it's off the charts. And that's what makes the real difference between farmers and good farmers. You have that passion of growing the fruit. Yeah. And Sam's done it all his life because he was a couple years old when he came here?
Yeah, he was 3 or 4 when he came. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's really a love of what it is. And when you see the variety of fruit that go, like the pears, the apples, I would say each apple that you buy there is perfect.
Yeah, right. You know, all the love that goes in, the care that goes into it.
Totally, 100%. Yeah. But the other thing where Sam's operation and their son Ross is they've got some really unique water management tools too, to get the right amount of water with technology.
Right.
So that's a big part of where they know how much water they use, the water at the right times. Yeah. And they do all the soil analysis. So that's where technology has really helped the farmers, rather than, like my grandfather would say, because we had our vegetable farm on Gordon, if you looked up at Little White and there was snow, it's too early to plant.
It wasn't because my knee hurts or wind coming or something.
But that was the tale they learned from the First Nations people. It was just too early.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that was a common thing. But now you've got technology.
Yeah, that helps be able to.
100%.
Yeah. I'm curious, actually, Patty, you mentioned this is, I think you said, the first year for the staccato varieties that you're doing. Did I hear that right?
Well, it's the first. We had a big crop, but we had a smaller crop last year of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how long of a process from the day you plant that first staccato tree to when you can actually sell it? Like, how quickly does something like that happen?
We planted in the pandemic.
Oh, you did?
In the spring of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, the neighbor had some property. Neighbor was buying some property, and he wanted it planted. And I think within a week we had it planted. Wow. The trees ordered and planted. So it was during the pandemic. So we did have 2 years ago. We did have a really light crop.
Right.
And then so that'd be 3 years.
Okay.
And then last year, just a very light crop due to weather.
Yeah.
And then this year, the weather has cooperated. And so this is our first big, for us.
For sure.
A big crop. Most of it's being shipped. I can't sell. We can't sell it all.
So where do you guys ship it to when you say
we're with Star Produce, and they have a group here, CFP, which is under them, and they supply all over Canada.
You just couldn't get through it on a local level.
And
you're just going to go to waste if it wasn't.
Really good to deal with. And so that's.
And Star Produce is a big produce thing across the world.
They're amazing, They really are,
In outside of cherries, you said pears and apples. Is there a variety of apples that you're known for, or is there a few that you have there? I assume. Or?
Well, we grow just pretty much all the main ones. I would say Honeycrisp is the number one apple in demand, and Ambrosia would be number two. Honeycrisp has a little bit of the edge because it's mature a little bit. It's mature more in September, where Ambrosia is more the end of September. Pears are always popular. Our shipper is Kevin Day from Day's Century Growers
on Burns Road.
He's built a fantastic facility and been very great to deal with. So our pears are all packed there. I mean, we sell some from the farm gate, but we've got one of the newer varieties, the Harrow Crisp, that's been very popular. I haven't tried that one. Yeah, they're very popular. I
love how there's such connections locally, as well as you're mentioning, we work with this person locally, and so there's it's almost like a real community for that better word when it comes to the farming side, right?
There's not a question when you go to some of these meetings. It's and the really encouraging part about it is you see people like their son Ross, a whole younger generation,
coming in,
and you see the enthusiasm that they have in wanting to do things. You get excited about it, and even in the Indo-Canadian community, there's a lot of younger people that are managing.
Well, and probably bringing a different perspective too, which is good. Bringing another perspective in from, because you do things the way you do all the time, and like you said, technology comes along, and now you maybe.
And sometimes older farmers don't want to embrace technology.
No, they don't.
Oh, we can't do it. No. Things have changed, Dad. This is the way you got to do it.
But like you said, even being able to maybe plant a little bit earlier, or even go a little bit longer, because your season's your season. But if you can get a little bit of extra, because I would assume you got to make hay when it shines, right? You're not selling cherries in December. You're not picking cherries in December, right?
Well, the other reason, even when she mentioned on the pruning side, which is really important for most fruits, all fruits, is that there's a reason why they're pruned this way. Before, some of the older people, Giuseppe told me I prune it this way. There was no
rhyme or reason, just do it that way.
But now when you look, there's a reason because of the buds. There's a reason why you summer prune for cherries sometimes, because it strengthens the buds for the following year.
Interesting.
So there's all these technology where it's kind of proven that it does increase your crop.
Interesting. So Dominic, from me, obviously I used to buy a lot of cherries and still do from you, but what other fruits do Jelous fruits do?
Cherries.
It's more than just, but isn't there, I think you had some peach, a little bit here.
No, that was from the neighbor.
Oh, so no more? So just cherries and that's it? Oh, interesting. Because I remember going into there was a couple that was just from apricots. That was from somebody else.
Well, that was from the neighbor. They had some of the neighbors come up. They had one tree or something. So
So it's strictly cherries.
Yep.
And how much goes? I'm curious because I'm always fascinated by the overseas market. So how much goes overseas for you guys? Is there still a market there?
Oh, it's huge because they just signed an agreement last year for South Korea. And I think they're negotiating one for the Philippines. Asia is a big market for the real big cherries because they pay a lot of money for them. We had, I think it was today, we had 4 shipping containers, refrigerated containers that are going by boat to Taiwan. And it's about 15 to 20 days to get there. And they get there perfect because when they go, even, Patty's cherries, when she ships them to the packing facility, they go hydro-cooled.
Right.
And then take 7 or 8 pictures of every cherry. Yeah. And then a poof of air will tell it which box to go in. Then they go in the white bag. That bag's a modified atmospheric pressure bag. So stored 2 degrees above freezing.
It stays.
It emulates the atmospheric pressure like the cherries on the tree. So through a plastic bag and hydro-cooling the cherries, they can ship them that far. And I tell people, some of them don't believe me. They figure it's just an Italian salesman trying. So I tell them, you take a bowl, put them in your fridge. It's not 2 degrees above freezing. Right. But some people say, oh, I had them for 2 weeks in there and they were still good. And I said, well, there's an example of why you can, the stems will start to dry out a little bit. But the other thing you'll find out is when you get progressive growers like the DeMarias, and there's a lot of good progressive growers, if the cherries growing properly, they last longer.
Right.
It's the same, you're putting the right amount of micronutrients on. It would be like you go getting the blood test and taking the right micronutrients. So when that's how scientific it's getting. But you can see a tree and you can say, oh, it looks healthy. Then you go look at a real healthy tree. Oh my God! Oh, you can tell the difference night and day.
Right.
So and that's where the better farmers that get a good return on their fruit is because it's grown properly. And that's why it's a full-time job year round. Basically, you're either planting or doing something. On the orchard.
I don't want to get political, but I do have to ask the question. It's the reality that we're in with the tariffs. Like, are the tariffs affecting? Have you seen any of that affecting you guys either way? Like, are you buying product or Not yet,
but there could be with sprays and parts and things we get from the
US.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's right.
It could be.
You just haven't seen it
Not yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know. And actually, it's unfortunately the reality we're living in this new world. That I'm always curious if you're buying product from elsewhere, like how it's affecting or.
But the only thing politically I have to say is people are more concerned where their food's coming from. They're looking for Canadian. They're looking for their own backyard. I had a customer today, and he said, "I don't buy anything from the local grocery stores. This time of the year, I go and I source it out. I go to the farm gates and buy my stuff." And I think this year even more so. I think we're going to see people like really watching where their food comes from. They don't want to support.
I mean, well, I always say it's your money. You support who you want to support too, right?
That's true.
But it's also, we have the ability in our region, drive around on the weekend. There's little fruit stands, and these are people that work hard, and you're getting fresh fruit. Like they're not shipping it from wherever.
Well, the other unique thing,
right?
certainly about the cherries, is that in another week or so, the Okanagan Valley is the only place in the world you can get cherries.
Right.
Everybody else is finished because Washington State would be close to finished now, I think.
And Ontario will be done.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't grow many sweet cherries though.
No, there were some. We were just there last week. There was some, but a lot of BC cherries there.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we go later here, like in this region. No, we're talking.
Correct.
Because there's nowhere else they're growing in BC. They're growing like cherries.
Creston area.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Creston Valley grows quite a bit.
Grow nice cherries. Yeah.
So how far do you go with cherry? Like how late are you picking cherries?
One year we picked in 6th of September.
Wow, interesting.
They were worth a fortune.
Yeah, I imagine the only ones on the market at the time.
Probably. We had a case where we saw a lot of cherries to Walmart this time of year in the U.S. And so I was working with some small peddlers, and the sales manager says, well, we can't supply them because Walmart was paying, this is 5 or 6 years ago, they were paying $4 more a box than I could sell them to the peddler for because they wanted them. So you're going to sell container after container.
Yeah, of course.
Because 1 year we sold 12 semis of cherries one day to California.
Right. Really?
Because they're finished.
Yeah. And they still want them though. Interesting. So Patty, your season cherries for a few more weeks. Is that sort of what you're?
Probably another week, I would think. We can get our crop off. Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of a break.
Then there's a break, and then we'll go into the pears and the apples. Yeah.
So when is that roughly? When is that?
Probably. Usually we start Bartlett pears depending on the weather. Usually around the end of August, beginning of September.
Okay.
And then we'll go into like Max, Galas, Honeycrisp. Yeah.
At the end of the year, do you you just need a week off to?
Yeah, it's like pretty. Well, harvest is like every day.
Yeah.
For everybody, for my husband, my son, and I, it's every day. So yeah, I mean, a break is always welcome. It's good to get away. Sometimes it's horticultural conferences we go to. It's not necessarily holiday. But it might be a horticultural conference, which is great because you learn from people all over the world. They share. it's called the International Fruit Tree Association that my husband belongs to.
Okay.
And they share knowledge. So we just were in Ontario last week and went to a couple areas, the Niagara area and the Harrow area, and went to some research centers, and you tour orchards and you see how things are done there.
Yeah.
So those are always good learning opportunities for. It's been for us, anyways. Yeah.
And you guys were in South Africa last year, weren't you?
Yeah, we got there was the opportunity to go to South Africa, and so that was very interesting.
Cool, yeah.
Very interesting orchards, and they're beautiful, top-notch orchards. Believe it or not. Yeah, we've been a lot of places in the U.S. and even in Europe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always fun learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, won't say fun, but it's always interesting learning
definitely.
And how they do things and learning tips.
Yeah.
Right? There's people that have degrees in pomology. They have their doctorates. One fellow has his doctorates in pomology from Cornell University. And those are the type of people that, tissue culture, there's all these different people that you meet along the way and read in your trade magazines too. Oh, this was written by, this fellow who was on tour with us, right?
That's fun.
So, and a lot of knowledge is shared on the bus.
100%, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I'm really proud of UBCO here this year, they have Dr. Church, I think, or Murch, I think is her name. I always forget whether it's Church or Murch. Yeah. But they're doing a huge research project on drought-tolerant grapes from Italy. So they're a licensed facility, so they can import the tissue cultures over here and fumigate them. Is that the right word? Yeah. So they're doing a huge project over there. So it's very, very cool. If you ever have a chance, you could get the tour of that. It's like you go with its lab. It's just like, oh my Lord! So it's good.
It's on campus here.
Yeah. So when you see the research that's shared between all countries, and do it. And the interesting part about on the cherry side is, I think it's 60 or 65% of all the cherries in the world were developed in Summerland. They get their basis from Summerland.
Yeah.
They'll start with an S.
Except Lappin's.
Okay, yeah.
They were named after Dr. Lappin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that goes to show you. So I tell people, I said, so if you were number one in the world, which the research station Summerland is, and you were in the U.S., how big would the sign be on the highway? 200 feet high? Like, we really got to be proud of what we're doing. And it should be some municipal people up and down the valley, they don't even realize how big the research station in Summerland is. But I think we've got to identify when you go to families like the DeMarias and other days and the other progressive farmers to say, we do something as good or better than anybody in the world. But you always hear about manufacturing side of it. Oh, they've done this and that. But they haven't put the agricultural component of what we do really good in the world, not just in Canada, in the world. So I think we got to be, like when the Prime Minister or Premier, when they're talking in front of the UN and stuff, they could bring up, hey, we're number one in the world. CNN or somebody's going to pick up that thing. Like they had with Stamilt, this big farmer in Washington State. There's a show on CNN where he was talking about his cherry orchard, and the word for word was just like it was somebody talking over here. But he's got 10,000 acres of cherries alone. One farmer. But it goes to show you how the interaction of the farmers. But I think we have to be a little proud of what we do from a local political standpoint, and because it's a huge industry. I mean, you look at all the temporary farm workers that go in front of Dollarama. 100%. Like Dollarama's got to be thanking the farm industry. But I think that kind of thing, right from, you take a look at all the input costs that a farmer has, diesel, tractors, irrigation stuff, computers, oh my God, clothing, you name boxes.
Packaging.
Packaging is huge. Huge.
And now there's no manufacturer anymore. It used to be one Enterprise Way to manufacture the boxes. But now the Crown Packaging has a warehouse here in Kelowna because there's so much here. So it goes to show you that it's a positive enough energy. Plus the other side that they don't get enough support on is you look at how good all the trees do for the climate. It's huge. Yeah. And the other thing that really irks me is the farmer gets not enough credit for how they manage water. And that's, if you when you go up there and you see their system, how they manage water is fantastic. They don't want to waste the water.
No.
But they don't even get a thank you from the local governments to say, you put in that monitoring system and you're saving water. Like, but yet if you were a manufacturing firm and you were saving water, you'd get
you get a prize.
So that we have to be. And I think all this tariff stuff and all the issues with the U.S., but I think it's brought, like Patty was saying, it's brought Canada together a little bit. They're looking for Canadian products, whether it be leafy green lettuce.
100%.
And the other thing that everybody in the Valley should be proud of, there's a company in Coldstream called Veg Pro. They grow 600 acres of lettuce outside. Like, they're huge in Quebec, Florida, and Kelowna, or Coldstream. And when you look at where they're situated, that's where farming started in the Okanagan, was the Coldstream area. Massive operation. And they've got hundreds of employees. We should be proud that we're up on that level in the world production of different things.
Interesting. Well, we'll just keep banging the drum as loud as we can.
So, that's
all we can do.
And we like to thank people like Kelowna now and Czech Radio for the amount of effort you put into supporting agriculture on this level. To say if we can get the word out on the subject. Then we want to get the
100%. Every little bit helps too, right? So
totally.
Interesting. So Dominic, we know that we can find Jelous fruits you mentioned in local retail stores here. Patty, from yours, so you're open this weekend?
This weekend, till Monday, and then possibly next weekend.
You'll see how things go.
Hopefully those peaches mature.
For sure.
People ask when, and I'm like, you
when
can go
ready.
have a talk with them. I've tried. And then obviously the end of the month, pears, apples. And we grow some table grapes, sovereign carnation, seedless table grapes as well.
And the best thing, people can go to your website, because I know I was on earlier, it's updated.
I've got a fruit availability tab on there. I update it daily so they can see what we've got, what the prices are, what our hours are.
And so everyone can just go to, we'll put the website in the show notes as well, so people can click through and find it. So, and then I really appreciate you guys chatting. Like, I think
one other thing we were talking about.
No more, Dominic.
Just let me finish.
Everyone say we get 3 Italians in the room. We're going to be here till 5 o'clock.
There's a couple things that the Kelowna area or Okanagan grows that nobody else in the world grows. One is Spartan apples, was developed in Summerland, and I think we're the only place in the world that grows Spartan apples.
I'm not sure if they grow them back east.
I could be wrong. And the other is some relatives of ours, the Sovereign Opal grape, is grown by the Casorso family. The only place in the world you find it is Kelowna, and the only place you can buy it is Sandhill Wines.
Really?
100%. It was developed in the Summerland Research Station. That's why the yes.
Yeah, see, it's interesting that we don't, like you said, bang the drum more and pound our chest about how great this stuff is, and we don't. It's interesting why. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Maybe there's an education component.
Well, this is where I think, and sometimes I can be a little critical of Tourism Kelowna. They do a great job, by the way, promoting it. But sometimes they don't promote issues like what I'm saying over here. Right. When you tell somebody, like, we're the only place in the world. Oh, didn't know that.
Interesting. Well, maybe someone will hear this.
Hopefully.
And reach out. So at the very least, we'll try to do our little part and support local. I'm a big believer in supporting local, and there's no excuse that you can buy all fresh fruits and vegetables picked here probably the same day when you're driving around. So
without
support, right? So Dominic, as always, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
It was great meeting you. Thank you. And if anyone's interested, I say just go to the Bella Rosa Orchards website, and they'll be updated and pop up before the cherries are gone. We only have a weekend left then, so pick up this weekend and pick some up. So thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And everyone else, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to everyone next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.